In 1932, the Australian military deployed soldiers with machine guns to fight a war. Their enemy wasn't a rival nation. It wasn't rebels or bandits or any human force at all. Their enemy was emus, thousands of them. And by the end of the campaign, the birds had won. After World War I, the Australian government gave land in Western Australia to thousands of returning soldiers, encouraging them to become wheat farmers. It was supposed to be a fresh start, but nobody accounted for the emus. Every year, tens of thousands of emus migrate inland after their breeding season, searching for water and food. In 1932, that migration led an estimated 20,000 emus directly into the new wheat farms. The birds trampled crops, tore down fences, and let rabbits pour in through the gaps behind them. For farmers already struggling through the Great Depression, this wasn't a minor nuisance, it was an existential threat to their livelihoods. The farmers, many of them former soldiers themselves, asked the government for help, and remarkably, the government agreed to send actual military support. Soldiers armed with two Lewis machine guns sent under the command of Major G.P.W. Meredith. The plan sounded simple on paper. Emus are large, flightless birds. How hard could it be? It turned out to be very hard. When the soldiers arrived in November 1932, they discovered emus are surprisingly difficult targets. They don't move in one obliging cluster. They scatter into small, fast-moving groups the moment they sense danger, some reportedly able to sprint at speeds close to 30 miles per hour. The open, uneven terrain made it nearly impossible to line up a clean shot. In one of the campaign's most infamous moments, soldiers attempted to herd a large group of emus into range of the machine guns, but partway through the ambush, one of the guns jammed, and the birds simply scattered into the bush before more than a handful could be hit. Reports from the time described the emus almost seeming to strategize, splitting into small groups, each with what appeared to be a leader watching for danger, making them far harder to corner than anyone expected. After about a week, with ammunition running low and results embarrassingly poor relative to the resources spent, the operation was called off. Newspapers at the time mocked the whole affair, and it became a small but lasting source of national embarrassment, a literal war effort outmaneuvered by a flightless bird. The military did return for a second attempt shortly after, and this time reported more birds killed. But even by the most generous estimates, the number of emus eliminated was a small fraction of the population, causing the damage, especially compared to the ammunition spent trying. Ultimately, the Australian government abandoned the military approach entirely. Instead, they turned to a bounty system, paying local farmers directly for each emu they culled, a far more effective and much cheaper solution than sending in machine guns. The so-called Emu War quietly faded into history, remembered today less as a military failure and more as one of the strangest, most oddly funny chapters of 20th century Australian history. To this day, it's often cited, half-jokingly, as a war that Australia lost to birds. It sounds like something out of a comedy sketch, but every part of this story is real, documented in official records and newspapers from the time. If this bizarre piece of history surprised you, subscribe to Factlore for more true stories stranger than fiction.